Narratives are the name of the game at SEC Media Days. We all have opinions. We all are talking season here. We're going to have predictions as well. What is the thing that we're getting wrong? We always get stuff wrong, so what are we wrong about?
We are always getting stuff wrong, and I feel like in July we always feel like we have things figured out. I think one thing that we could be getting wrong is either Auburn or Florida. I don't think we're underestimating both of them. I don't think that both of them are going to be a potential 8 or 9 win team, but one of them. And I think it's for a couple of reasons. We're underestimating Graham Mertz. He was the most efficient passer in the SEC last year. I also think we're looking at Florida's schedule and the outcome of last season, and we're just kind of laughing them off like they'll be another 5-win football team. I think that's one part of being a young team 1 year, which Florida was last year. Okay, now those players are another year older. Now those players have even more experience, and Graham Mertz is acclimated into Billy Napier's offense. I also look at Auburn, and I think that Auburn, with the talent that they brought in the wide receiver position, they were the worst passing team in the SEC last year. I don't expect that to be the same case this year. So I think both of those could be a dark horse contender. We're just kind of overlooking.
Who's on the top tier? I'm assuming Georgia will be one of the 2 teams you put in the championship game. Who's on the top tier when you consider your ballot? Who are the other teams you're going to put there with Georgia that you're thinking about?
So it'll be Georgia, Texas for the quarterback of it all. Quinn Ewers comes back year 3. It's not going to be easy to replace Devondre Sweat and Byron Murphy. It's not going to be easy to replace A.D. Mitchell and Xavier Worthy, but Texas has done some work in the transfer portal. I would put Texas in the mix. I also have to put Alabama in the mix. It's not the same Nick Saban benefit of the doubt where we all say, okay, well, Alabama's automatically going to be a 10-win team. I think that Jalen Milroe coming into year 2, and in this Kalen DeBoer offense, look at what Kalen DeBoer did with Michael Penix Jr. Very similar skill set to Jalen Milroe. He's incredibly athletic. He has an absolute cannon. He was able to kind of gear Michael Penix into his strengths. I think that Jalen Milroe in Alabama, with the schedule that they have, it's not a cakewalk, but it's also not a murderer's row. I'm going to put Alabama right up there with Texas and Georgia in my top 3.
All right, there's a really healthy next group, like Ole Miss, Missouri, Tennessee, LSU, maybe A&M and Oklahoma, but those top 4 are for sure going to be very good, mostly because of quarterbacks, offensive systems. Who do you like the most of that group? Who do you like the least? Again, Tennessee, Nico, you got Brady Cook, Jackson Dart, the whole deal. Like, what's the team that you like the most out of that group, and maybe who's overrated?
Of the group of LSU, Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Missouri, I'm going to say I like Missouri the best out of that group. And yes, we saw Brady Cook do what he did last year, but it's really about Luther Burden for me. Luther Burden is not getting talked about enough. I think he's the best wide receiver in the sport this year. What worries me about Missouri is 2 things. Losing Cody Schrader, but also Missouri is going to, I think, adopt more of a running back by committee philosophy this year, and also the defense. You don't lose Blake Baker and defensive line coach Kevin Peoples, who are now at LSU, and get better. So I'm a little bit worried about Missouri's defense, but so much returning talent on that team. I think Missouri is going to be a team that could find itself in the college football playoff. And that group that I like the least, honestly, I have to go with LSU. Kyron Lacey is going to be a star. He's a name that I don't think a lot of people know now, but will. But I think outside of Kyron Lacey at the wide receiver position, who else is going to be a threat for Garrett Nussmeier? And also, while the defensive coaching staff is upgraded, I mentioned Kevin Peoples and Blake Baker, Bo Davis in the mix coaching the defensive line. I don't know if the talent is there. There's just not enough experience on the defensive side of the ball. I think LSU could be a team that disappoints.
So you're going Georgia, Texas on your ballot this week?
Georgia, Texas on my ballot this week, which is so not fun. So if I want to throw a fun potential matchup in there,
Missouri,
I'm going to throw Georgia, Missouri in there. If it's anybody that I don't think would find their way in Atlanta, it'd be Texas.